Hello, friends. Here we are again. Another daily devotional, another beautiful devotional today. Today, July 8th, 2026. It's a wonderful devotional, and I would like for you to please listen. Please listen to this devotional today. It's a wonderful one. And if you're a Christian, please stay because this is pretty important, pretty interesting. Um, if you are not a Christian, it's pretty important that you listen to because this is what we are supposed to be doing. This is what we ought to be doing as Christians for those who are not Christians. And if you are a Christian, this is what we're supposed to be doing. Yes, and this is what the Israelites were supposed to have done back then. So let us get to the scripture today. It's a beautiful scripture. Well, before we read this scripture today, the name of the devotional is A Highway of Holiness. A Highway of Holiness. A beautiful devotional again, but let us see what it says. July 8th, 2026. This is the scripture of the Lord. Listen to the word of the Lord. A road will be there, and a way it will be called the Holy Way. The unclean will not travel on it, but it will be for the one who walks the path. Even the fool will not go astray. This word comes from the book of Isaiah, chapter 35, verse 8. Isaiah 35, 8. Let us see what the devotional have to say. It's pretty neat. I would love for you to listen. The nation of Israel was designed to have a place where other nations of the world could come to worship the true God. The temple in Jerusalem was to be the center from which the good news of God's salvation would spread to every corner of the world. But those who were supposed to be God's people forsook Him and practiced every kind of sin. Rather than being ambassadors for God, they disgrace His holy name. Rather than attracting the nations of the earth to God, they became stumbling blocks to those who were seeking the true God. The Israelites fell so far from God's original intent that God judged them and sent them into exile. Yet God promised that one day His people could be an avenue by which others could find salvation. It is God's desire that anywhere there is a Christian, God has a way for people to learn of His salvation. And we can hear more about that in the book of Romans, chapter 10, verses 14 and 15. And I will encourage you to go read those two verses. Just those two verses, if you want to. You can read more. The book of Romans is a beautiful book, but if you just go to chapter 10, verses 14 and 15, they're pretty neat. Whenever an unbeliever meets a Christian, the unbeliever ought to be face to face with everything he needs to know in order to follow Christ. Sadly, however, Christians can be like the Israelites of Isaiah's day. We can be so involved in our own sin that we are completely disoriented to God. Ill-equipped to direct others to Him. If our lives are filled with hypocrisy, we may turn people away from God rather than helping them come to Him. If our lives are filled with doubt or anger, we will impede others from coming to Christ. Our lives ought to be a highway of holiness. That's what our lives ought to be, a highway of holiness. Providing easy access to God for anyone around us who seeks Him. Ask God to remove any obstacle in your life that hinders others from coming to know Jesus. Yeah, those obstacles need to be removed, and God can remove them, but we need to be willing to give them up. It's not about us, it's about Christ. It's not about us, it's about God. So let's introduce that loving God that we have met to others instead of trying to introduce our own beliefs and our own understandings. I think it will help so much more. May God bless you all. Amen.